If Lands Could Kill, featuring Knife City, a quickness, right, and hot sauce.
Welcome to episode 6 of If Lands Could Kill. You might recognize me as Knife City, along with...
A quickness.
Reich, hot sauce. Oh, man.
So what's going on in our lives since we last podcasted?
Well, today is definitely an early Sunday morning, Easter morning.
We're all fucking tired.
And we're all just hungover on life right now. Yeah. Feeling good.
Yeah, life last night was rough.
I think you're the regular hungover.
The
regular guy.
I think that's the drunk hungover I'm on. That's not the hungover on life?
All of our best podcasts have we've been hungover.
Yeah.
I mean, all of our podcasts.
But yeah, I think we're good. We're, I feel like we're moving along with these podcasts, but, last night was kind of crazy for us. We got to do some, crazy karaoke. But,
yeah, we went to a karaoke place, last night.
What'd you guys sing?
Oh man, we got everything from Journey to, Europe.
All the classics. Yeah, we did Final Countdown. We did, what was the best song we were singing last night?
Was it Headstrong?
No, not Headstrong.
That was oh god, what was it?
Son of a bitch.
Scorpion?
Yeah, that was a good
Scorpions.
one. Scorpions.
Rock You Like a Hurricane. That was good. That's a classic, man.
Yeah, that was
That's
good.
a classic. Yeah, we were all over the place though, but it was good times. A lot of good food.
Yeah, the place is kind of like, it's pricey.
Yeah, it's a little pricey, but hey.
It's a good fucking time.
Yeah.
And they have like bulgogi. If you guys ever had bulgogi, this shit is
What the fuck is that?
Bulgogi is...
What?
Nice. If you guys are into any kind of like Asian dishes, it's a Korean plate, and all it is like sweet beef sauteed with like onions and sometimes mushrooms and shit like that. So just picture like your beef and broccoli, but more tender and more sweet, and it's fucking amazing. It's like beef jerky, basically.
It's called bulgogi?
Bulgogi, yeah.
U-L-G-O-G-I.
I just want to giggle at that name. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid, right? But we had that. We had soju, which is like a super sweet, like, what is it? It's a mixed drink.
Well, soju is like, originally it's just like a...
Oh, soju.
It's like a fucking, it's some kind of rice alcohol or something like that, but then they mix it with like cranberry, or they like some kind of like yogurt or passion fruit, or like some crazy sweet ass shit, and it makes it taste good.
For those at home, it tastes like rubbing alcohol mixed with sugar water.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Kool-Aid and rubbing alcohol. Because you can taste the alcohol a little bit, and it tastes like garbage. Like, you can tell it's cheap shit. So that was last night. I don't know what else, Rick.
Yeah, then we'll touch on this, but all of us were able to get together on a Friday night, magic session on Friday. But
that was exciting.
We'll go Friday Night Magic at San Diego Games and Comics.
Yeah, awesome place, by the way. Awesome place. That was my first time there, and I will definitely be back for sure.
Nice people.
They're really nice.
And if you're from San Diego Games and Comics, we're always looking for sponsors.
Yeah. Right.
Sponsor my addiction, please.
Yeah.
So what's up with you guys?
Not much. Just been dealing with a bunch of life stuff. I did recently get to try the Tarmogoyf lottery and had 3 go-rounds with that. Did not get anything good.
What's the Tarmogoyf lottery?
Tarmogoyf lottery, well, it's on Magic Online, and they're doing flashback drafts. So they allow, drafts from previous sets. So you can draft them and stuff like that. And it was Future Sight, Fifth Dawn, and there was one other one, but Tarmogoyf comes out of Future Sight, and it's a 1 and a green for a star 1, and it gets the power and toughness for each card type in the graveyard. So, and it's mostly played in the older formats like Modern, and a lot of times, you could have a land, you can have an instant and sorcery, and you can have a creature by turn 2. So like this guy is a 2-mana like 3/4 and 4/5. And it comes out, so it's like really huge.
And he costs like $170.
Yeah, these guys like bonkers crazy.
Fucking foils are like $450 or something for one card.
He's like the best creature in Magic, pretty much.
Probably has the best name too.
Them. Yeah.
He's the only.
His art's really good too. Yeah, everything's good.
Isn't he like the only creature type that is actually like a some sort of goif.
No, there's actually, I was looking
Goyim? Oh, Goyim.
I was looking at his goif brethren, and there's about like 8 other different types of goifs. It's not Tarmogoyf, but it's a goif.
I think I've seen
Bulgogi goif.
people walking around with those goifs on their neck, right?
Yeah.
Fucking goifs.
So I went to the doctor, and he said,
I'm sorry, sir, you have the goifs. It's terminal.
I usually do it when I finish in the bedroom. I'm like, goif! go all cross-eyed.
Whammy, goif!
Yeah. Shazam!
I like to say Yahtzee.
Jumanji.
Hadouken.
That's when it's coming out.
Yeah.
It's got some distance, bro.
So I haven't been doing too much. Just playing. Oh, I downloaded Trials Fusion. It just came out on the Xbox One. It's like almost like a 2D kind of. It's like, think about Excitebike, but like nowadays, and it's awesome. And I played all of the previous ones.
Is it pretty similar to the previous ones? Just like new?
It's pretty similar. They added some new things, like you can ride a 4-wheeler. You can do like tricks now.
Is it still like a side-scrolling thing?
Yeah, still side-scrolling.
Okay, cool.
So the tricks are like, all right. They're kind of a little bit on the difficult side, kind of like Tony Hawk, you know. Think about like
For those at home, Knife City just broke his pen.
I almost took my eye out.
Playing with it.
Think about like Tony Hawk for like the 64, like it's at that level of kind of difficultness, but it's fun. I feel like it's a little easier than the previous ones, because like in a day I got to like expert levels, but I'm super glad. I've been like waiting ever since I got the Xbox One for that game to come out, so pretty excited about that. And fucking nothing too exciting other than I'm playing the same old games, Hearthstoning it up,
Hearthstone.
hitting them fucking arenas at work. Yeah. So let's get into fucking.
Wait, I was gonna say that I have been playing Titanfall. 360.
How is it?
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's the same as the Xbox One, except that it's just you can tell some of the graphic stuff is like dumbed down.
Your Titans aren't as tiny.
They're not as tiny,
Yeah.
but it's really good. It's really solid
Tighten up
gameplay.
those graphics.
So I'm playing that.
Three.
It's really fun.
Tighten up those graphics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's
then-
fucking early over here, by the way.
The last thing I got a fucking promotion at work, so like I fucking I maxed out my level. That's what I did. I hit level fucking 85. I can't go anywhere from here, basically. I think that, like, the rest of my life is going to be at the same fucking position, basically. Which is a good and bad thing, so I'm happy about that. That's it.
More money?
A lot more money, yeah.
Plus, you work days.
Yeah, you work
So
days.
I'm back to, that's important for us, yeah, that I can do Friday Night Magic, which I actually did because we were able to do it because I got off at 4 p.m. where I normally get off at like 2 a.m. So this is going to be exciting for me to start working 8 to 4 like a normal human being. And I can meet up with you guys after work and we can play some Magic casually, or we can go hit up fucking San Diego Games and Comics or whatever else.
Fuck
Plus
yeah.
I have expendable income to just buy all the Tarmogoyfs I have.
All the Tarmogoyfs.
And I'll just start like raining on people, you know. I'll walk into the Magic store and I'll just start fucking throwing cards out of my hand like it's hundreds, dude.
Throwing those lands around.
You know?
Yeah.
All the girls be taking their tops off. And I'm like, no, put those back on.
Hold on.
No,
Good
no.
for you. So Friday Night Magic, we went and met up for some foodie foods.
Oh, yeah.
And then we were able to go on over to San Diego Games and Comics out here in Great San Diego. And it was a standard. They had drafts too, but
Yeah, we missed the draft, right?
yeah,
Like
just because of the timing, we figured it
We showed up when it started.
Yeah.
A minute of.
So we just did the standard tournament, and Why don't you guys talk about what you played? Let's start with Brent because let's start with Reich because I'm really curious. I have no idea what you played. What could you possibly have played?
What deck I would have played?
Yeah. What deck did you play?
Did you use your
one deck?
man.
Did you use your other one?
I think I used
third same
Oh
deck.
man, I know I have so many decks. I can't figure out which. I can't even remember which one I played. I think it was I think it was Red Green Monsters. I think that's what
You have a Red Green Monster?
When did you get that?
Yeah.
When did you get Red Green
yeah, I think it was Red Green Monsters I played. Yeah, I'm almost positive that was it. But yeah, I took my Red Green Monsters deck out there and started dropping Stormbreath Dragons on everyone's face. And it was good. But
So how'd you do?
I went out of it was like 36
players is what I counted.
or so, or 40 people, and I actually got at the end of the day 8th place, so it wasn't too bad.
Nice. What was your record?
The first game I played a Bant control deck that played those white enchantments that where you have to pay X amount of mana to be able to attack.
Sphere of Safety.
Yeah, Sphere of Safety, and he had like two of those on the board, and then a bunch of mana blooms, just with one counter on it, so he never had to take it away. And by the end of 35 minutes or something like that, I ended up conceding because I had to pay 22 mana for every time I wanted to attack, which is just ridiculous. I was almost there with Xenagos out. I could +1 him to get because I had 20 creatures on the board, but it was just taking up too much time, and that was our first game, so I just ended up conceding that game and going to the second game, and then we ended up just drawing out because it just took so goddamn long against this guy because he wasn't able to kill me and I wasn't able to kill him, so we just ended up drawing. My second game, I ended up playing. Who did I play? Did I play you, Corey?
No, I think that was the third.
Yeah, it was the third one.
Oh, that's right. After the second game, I won 3 games. Lost 1 and tied 1 out of the 5.
Not too shabby.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the game that I lost was the Red Green Mirror, which was it just pretty much came down to me not getting red mana to be able to play all the freaking Stormbreaths in my hand. If I would have had one more red source of mana in there, I would have been sitting pretty. But and then my last game was the Nailbiter. It was against Esper Control, and I won the first game out of luck because he just didn't draw any removal spells. The second game he ended up winning because he resolved an Elspeth and just plus Elspeth up and then ultimate her for 1,000,000 damage. And then the tiebreaker game, I luckily boarded in 1 Skullcrack, and that was in my opening hand that I kept, and it ended up saving the game because I was able to I blood rushed an Elvish Mystic for 5 damage, right?
Yeah.
Which he responded to with a Sphinx's Revelation for 3 or 4 or something like that because he was at 8 life. So I blood rushed my Elvis Mystic for 5 damage. He Sphinxes for 3, but luckily I was holding that Skullcrack and had open mana and was able to Skullcrack him for an additional 3 damage for Exaxes.
Nice.
And
cleaned
it up, awesome. Dude. Oh man, I feel bad for the guy. His face is really,
yeah,
really, man. You're gonna do me like this?
Yeah, that's what he gets for playing Control. That bastard.
Yeah, that's what you get for playing Esper Control. But that was probably my worst matchup. Although the second game I played was it was Mono Black, and that's the one I lost. But no, that's the one I won. I won against Mono Black. I lost Red Green Monsters. Yeah. So the first game I played was the Bant Control. Second game I played was Mono Black, which I won by the skin of my teeth also. Because the first game I played against him, it was a clean sweep because he got stuck on mana. The second game he ended up winning because he had 1,000,000 pack rats out.
Ugh.
And then the third game I luckily, Stormbreath Dragon kept one game, dude. Stormbreath Dragon is such a good card. I love that guy.
Oh yeah.
And him with the Xenagos, Planeswalker, just pumping out those tokens just to sack him and tap down his demon. It was gravy. But man, I had so much fun on Friday.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that was the most important part.
Yeah, I had so much fun. Everyone there was really nice. Everyone was cool, and it was good players. But I wish I could have did better. But I mean, 8th place is great. So I mean, I took home 1 pack. I think their prize was 1 pack and $5 in store credit. So I mean, it's not too shabby.
Which is sweet, right?
I pretty much got my money back for entering in.
Plus a pack,
yeah.
That opened up nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I opened up, what was it, the Rage Blood Shaman or some shit.
Yeah.
What?
And I tried to get, the funny thing is, I opened that pack up, right? And
Don't say you're talking about the.
so
I'm trying to set him up.
yeah, I opened the pack up, and like there's nothing good, but I mean it's the Rage Blood Summon still it's a decent card, but you know I was walking around like I saw this young kid, like a younger kid, like maybe I don't know, he was like what 10, 11, 12, something like that. And I go up to him like, oh hey buddy, like, oh, are you new to Magic? He's like, no, not really. I'm like, oh, would you know, I just opened these packs. Would you like, like I didn't really want anything out of this pack. Would you want a free pack? He's like, no. He just looked at me like, just take price, no. I'm like, okay, well. I'm like, all right, well, no problem. I was like super awkward. I'm like, I was like trying to thought like, you know, maybe he was new or like just like a little kid, like, oh, I'll help him out, like throw him some cards, you know. Like I would love someone to do that to me when I was like, if I was playing the game.
That
Like
10-year-old playing
like,
Super Friends,
I was
bro.
just like that dude had like probably like $500 worth of cards.
Exactly.
I was like, oh well, all right, thanks. Well, I mean, anyways, I just walked away. I'm like, all right, well, I tried, man.
He was playing fucking Legacy.
Yeah,
like, get away from me, pedo.
Why are you talking to me? You're probably a fucking, those are fucking Black Lotuses.
Great.
Oh my god. But anyways,
yeah.
that was my experience on Frankenhead, which was pretty good.
That was funny as hell.
How'd you do, Juice?
I think I went 2 and 3. Is what I ended up at. First deck I played against was a Rakdos aggro deck, and I was playing my Esper Control. That went pretty good. He just, you know, he had the hasty guys. He's playing like the Skull Cleaver Minotaur and a lot of things like that. So like, I lost game 1 because it was too fast. My configuration of the Esper Control deck wasn't good against aggro.
Yeah, aggro's tough.
Yeah, I was more suited for control matchups because that's why I was expecting everybody to play. So, you know, game 2, I boarded in like some Night Veil Specters and my Blind Obedience, and just it owned him. He couldn't do anything. I hit my 2 Thoughtseizes in the deck too, so I was able to get rid of his Skullcracks, and then, you know, I just landed 2 Sphinxes, I pulled my Elspeth, I put that down, and there's no way for him to come back from that.
Yeah, Elspeth is just
Perfect against that.
Yeah,
like she's so good. Like she can defend herself when she comes down. It's just anyways.
Yeah. So, you know, he had a bunch of like X1s. So it's like I had a bunch of 1/1 tokens. He's like, he had like 4 creatures on the board,
into that.
and I had my 3 tokens, and I had like 8 mana open. He's like, well, good game. And he's conceded right there because he can't do anything after that.
Understood.
And then game 2. I played against, I think it was Selesnya aggro, and all I gotta say is Voice of Resurgence, bane of my existence. I do not read the card. I do not understand what the card does for some reason. Because every time when it hits,
too much text on there.
yeah, every time it hits the battlefield, like my brain turns off, and I don't understand it has text on the card. So I tried to Doomblade something on his turn, and yeah. He put out like this weird unhinged card, because it was weird because I was looking at it, I was like, well, what are you doing? And I looked at the card and I was like, why does it have half power, half toughness? I was like, okay, I understand what it says from, but what are you trying to do? He's like, oh, it's a Voice of Resurgence token. I was like, oh shit. I just wanted to concede right there, like the shame concede, like I'm done, like I'm stupid.
And the token is like, it has power for like every creature on the board or something like that,
yeah,
right?
the token is power and toughness equal to how many creatures you control.
Yeah.
So like he had that, plus the Voice of Resurgence was still there, and I was like, dude, like there's no way. I didn't draw into a Supreme Verdict, so I was like, I was screwed. So I lost that matchup just because I was stupid. I'm pretty sure I could have come back on game 3. But yeah, and then I played against Mono Blue Devotion, and I owned him game 1. Just because the configuration for Mono Blue is not really set up for the control matchup. Like they don't have the gainsays main board, or you know the negates or anything like that. So game 1 I own. Game 2, you know, he won that game 2, and then game 3 was pretty close because he landed a Jace Memory Adept, and my first land I played was Scryland, and I revealed it. Well, I didn't reveal. I saw that I had the elixir coming up. I was like, well, I don't really need that right now. You know, I can eventually dig for it. So I shipped it to the bottom, and he landed the Jace, and I was like, okay, I see where this is going. I had a Sphinx's Rev in my hand, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna snipe it. I'm just gonna let him mill me. I'm just gonna keep drawing cards, playing lands, try to stop everything I can. And then as soon as we get down to like the last 10 cards, I'm just gonna rev, and I'm gonna snipe the elixir, play it, and then shuffle everything back in my library. And everything he did was pretty much pointless. But by the time we got to that point, he had like 3 Judges Familiars on the board. And I didn't have enough mana to like rev plus play the elixir and crack it, so I was like, well, I kind of screwed that one up. That
the Judge's Familiars.
Yeah,
it makes you pay 1 more for
the
instant or sorcery you're trying
it counters
to
it unless the owner pays 1 more.
Right.
So the line of play I took was a risky one. It was very weak, but like I said, it's weak, so I didn't really pay off. And then I played against like an Izzet player. He's played an Izzet deck, and it had some good cards, but I was always 1 step ahead, and just my overall card quality was like light years ahead of what he had. So it wasn't too good of a matchup for him. Really.
Yeah, I remember talking to the Izzet guy, and he was like, he knew like, oh yeah, Izzet's just not there.
Yeah,
he was living on a prayer.
Yeah, he wanted to play it because he found it was fun, which is it's great. You want to play a deck that's fun for you. But it just got outclassed by a tier 1 deck because it didn't have the cards to support it yet. So the other ones I kind of forget, but
overall you went 2 for the
Did you know what place you got overall?
No, I didn't really check what place. When we went up to go find out if we got any prizes or anything like that, I was like, did I win anything? He's like, no, you didn't.
Okay.
So I didn't bother with seeing what place I actually ended up in.
Well, I guess that leaves me. I was running. I should have ran one of my other decks.
no, come on, it's fine.
I played my mill deck though, which is my little pet deck. I know it's not like gonna be competitive any good, but it's just super fun to play.
But it's built the way you want it to, right?
Oh yeah, it's as perfect as it can be right now. Minus like moving 3 cards here or there. So my first game I played against, it was like kind of red-green monsters, with like some variations.
Was it like an aggro red-green? Because I know there's an aggro red-green guy that was there.
He had like experiment ones and scavenging oozes and just some other weird stuff. So the first game, he won. I just smashed my face. I think I stumbled on mana or something, so he didn't really know like what the fuck my deck did. And then, so second game,
cards.
Yeah. And so second game, I was able to assemble all my pieces together and hit him in the face for like 20-something consuming aberration, and he's like, "Oh, that's what your deck does." And
so you lost that one, right?
Yeah, he lost that one. I didn't even actually hit him. He just like conceded once he
saw the big old.
Yeah, I had like a removal spell to get rid of his last blocker, and then it was on after that. And so then game 3, this is like the most exciting match all night. Like the night started off really well. Since playing fucking like mill control, the match was going pretty long. So by that time, like a couple of his buddies were like watching the game and everything, and I was milling him out, and I thought seized him, and I took away Scavenging Ooze when his graveyard was like nice and full, and I Crypt Incursioned him for like 30 or whatever that was, and then he just like showed his buddy. He's like, the Scavenging Ooze in his hand. He's like, yeah. Like, obviously, he couldn't say anything. Yeah. But he just, like, showed it to him, like, yeah, fuck. And then I took it out of his hand with Thoughtseize. Yeah.
Go ahead and just give me that guy.
Yeah. And it came down to, I was hitting him with Mirko Vosk, the Mind Drinker, and it came down to he had 2 cards left in his library, a whatever card and a land. So if I would have just, was able to get one more land out of his deck, I would have been able to win. Because Mirko Vosk, when he does combat damage, you have to mill until you hit 4 lands. So, but that was like fun. Like at the end, everyone was like, "Is he gonna get there?" Like it was fun.
Oh,
my second game was against a newer player. She was running like a wolves deck, which was pretty cool. I was able to mill her. But she did resolve I milled her good. But she was able to resolve a Howl of the Night Pack, or is that what it's called?
Yeah, Howl of the Night Pack, where it gives you all the
or is it
wolf tokens.
the enchantment one?
No, it was Howl of the Night Pack.
So Howl of the Night Pack.
And she put out 12 2/2 wolves on the board, and I was like, ooh, but I was able to win. So the first 2 people were like totally awesome to play against, and then so my third game I fucking played against this dick.
Oh, I know, he's such an asshole, that guy. I saw him too.
Yeah, when we go back, let's beat him up. So I played against Reich in my third game, which out of the 4 of us, I like playing Reich with my mill deck just because it's so 50-50.
Literally a toss-up.
Yeah, it's like either he just bashes me in the face or I'm just milling him out in that Crypt Incursion for 1 million. And so, I think the first... You won the first.
First game I won pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And the second game you ended up milling me with, what was it, the creature that
Mirko Vosk.
So you milled 4 lands because I only had like 10 cards in my my library, and then all of them were just like creatures. There's no lands.
And then the third game was dragged out. It was kind of you were ahead, I was ahead, and then you finally were able to just turn the corner. And
I brought out the Domri emblem.
Yeah, the Domri emblem. I couldn't run into a Hero's Downfall, and so that was fun. Fourth match, so I went up against the Mono Black in the fourth match, and just couldn't draw lands. Like I was just maybe kept some questionable opening hands. 2 landers, like I'll be able to get there, and just not drawn into that third one, And then the last one I played.
Did you lose your third?
Oh yeah, I lost.
Your fourth game?
I didn't even win one game.
Oh, you won one too.
Yeah, and then the last one. Oh, I played against this like mono white kind of white weenies aggro, and he won the first game.
The hungover guy?
Yeah, the hungover guy. Just like, he told me later, he's like, dude, I got drunk like way earlier today, and now I'm just hungover. Like, I don't even want to be playing Magic right now. I was like, alright. So he won game 1 just, super quick. Mm-hmm. I was able to, mill him out in the second game, and he took the third one down. So I went 1-4. But I had a shitload of fun, and it was just cool. Saw some people we've seen at some other shops. And it was just cool to actually be a part of the human interacting community, like physical atmosphere, instead of just like
no Magic Online.
Yeah, having to be stuck on Magic Online or just drafting with you ass clowns,
know. Right.
So definitely had fun. I want to hit up the pre-release next weekend, so if you guys have some time and expendable income, I will definitely be hitting up probably Crazy Fred's for the pre-release.
Right.
Might want to try to do multiple ones, maybe one on Friday, one on Saturday, or something like that.
So I went 2-3, and I was actually expecting to do better than that. How fucking selfish is that of me, but, expecting great things. I was playing a Festering Newt combo deck or whatever, right?
Woo!
Which everyone was cracking up about. The first player I played was an Izzet player, and same thing, he didn't have shit, so, it was an easy victory, because he just couldn't draw into whatever he had. He had this, he needed to bring out creatures to interact with his instants and sorceries, and it never happened. So it was unfortunate for him, but there was no chance. We even played like a third game for fun because we was over so early, and it's same thing. He had no chance. Yeah. So it wasn't my deck; it was just his deck was the problem.
Yeah, there's not a lot of support for the right now.
Yeah. Then next, I played a control matchup, which I lost. The first match, I lost my ass like super quick. The second match, I was ahead big time. I had the combo for starts, and then he only had 5 lands, so he couldn't bring out Elspeth. I had Blood Baron of his scope out, so I had lifelink, so I kept hitting him up.
Yeah.
I brought myself up to 36, and he was down to 7. So the next turn, I was going to hit for 10-10 with the lifelink.
Yeah.
On his next turn, he had Jason on the board, and he -2'd to draw 3 cards or whatever, to see 3 cards.
Yeah.
He ended up pulling up Supreme Verdict exactly when he needed it.
Yeah.
So he actually pulled up 2 Supreme Verdicts. I was like, motherfucker. So I just split it up, and he took the one of the Supreme Verdicts, and he used it right then because he had open mana. He didn't spend anything that turn.
Yeah.
So he wiped my board out, which sucked. Like, it was game. I won that match. And from that point on, I just kept top decking and kept drawing cards, and I didn't draw shit. I just draw lands, something that's not for my combo, some kind of enchantment that doesn't matter. I just kept drawing a bunch of bullshit. And he had 3 Elspeth tokens and 2 Mutavaults, and just kept hitting me for 7. And he brought me down from 36 to 0 with just that.
Whittle you away.
Just whittle me away. I'm like, this is, and we went like, it took, whatever, that was like 6 turns or something like that for him to do that. In 6 turns of me drawing, I didn't have shit.
Yep.
And I even had Underworld's connections on the board. I was drawing double cards. I still wasn't able to bring up anything worthwhile. If I did, he was able to counter it. So it was a long match. Third matchup, I played against that White Weenie deck. I was close. I won that matchup. I brought out High Priest of Penance. Ooh, that guy, he's 1/1 for a white and a black. Whenever High Priest of Penis is dealt damage, you may destroy target non-land permanent. So it's perfect against like a monsters deck. Some kind of with like ground creatures, like a White Weenie or like an aggro or a monsters, whatever. If I block one of his shits, I get to choose any one of his non-land permanents and destroy it.
Yeah.
I ended up getting this guy out along with Gift of Immortality. So every time it dies, I would just bring it back anyway, so he could not attack in. Yeah. And if he did, I was able to kill his biggest creature, whatever I wanted, as long as it wasn't hexproof, of course. So anyways, when that combo came out, they were just like, well, what do I do now? I have nothing to do. Even if he fucking downfalls it or whatever, if I have to sacrifice, it doesn't matter, it just comes back. Yeah, and he didn't have any destroy enchantment stuff. Two removals, yeah. So he tried that didn't work out. So anyways, game 3 was done. Game 4 was, let's see here. It was like a mono black core. It was like a mono black, but he also threw in some Golgari stuff in there. So a Golgari Charm and Abrupt Decay.
Yeah.
And maybe like one or the thing. What's that?
He splashed just for a few of those cards.
Just a few of those cards, but it was basically
like
mono black.
Nebraska in the sideboard or something.
Something like that, And he wasn't. I know he wasn't playing Pat Crap, but he's playing everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And he won the first game, I won the second game, he won the third match, I should say.
Yeah.
So it was pretty close. The thing is with his deck, this Festering Newt stupid deck that nobody plays, is that every time I would pull out a Swamp and a Festering Newt, every player, including the players around me, would be like, what the fuck is he playing? And so when the matches were over, I had like a little crowd around me for every game because people didn't know what the fuck was going on. And so, like, I sat down for my 4th game, and the guy next to me was like, "Oh, so you're the guy playing the newts?" And I'm like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Oh, it's going around, dude. Like, what is up with your deck?" So people are excited to see this weird deck,
stuff.
To see it happen, and nobody ever plays that combination. And so, anyways, I lost that. So I was at 2-2, and then the final matchup, the 5th matchup, I played a mono green. Well, it was like a red-green monsters, but it was more green. It played like the Colonian Hydra and stuff like that. So it was just a lot of big stuff. He played like 3 of the Xenogods and like 3 of the Nylea gods. Mm-hmm. So he was heavy. Like it was a delicate thing where if he didn't get his ramp, he would lose. Well, we played 2 games and he ramped perfectly for both games.
Yeah.
Where I remember on turn 6, he had both gods activated, a Colonian Hydra, and two ramp creatures. So he just says, I had nothing, nothing worthwhile. And he had everything had trample and everything was attacking for 6+ or whatever. So
that's rough.
It was, I mean, what am I supposed to do? What is anyone supposed to do against that?
If mono green is really cool, because if you can get that ramp, or like even like the red green, like the aggro red green, if you can ramp out and get on turn, and like as long as you get that ramp and you're ahead of, like, on turn 2 you're playing a turn 3 creature, right? And it's just fucking, you just take the board as long as you have that curve.
He had the Xenagod out. He was able to, that was on like turn 4 or whatever, right? Turn 5, he was he also had a, what's it called? What's the land you tap and it gives you all your devotion? What's the thing?
Nykthos.
Nykthos. He had Nykthos out too. So he was able to bring out the Xenagod on turn 4 or whatever. Turn 5, he tapped Nykthos and he had like 10 mana to spend. So he brought out a Colonian Hydra and the Green God, and he was able to give the Colonian Hydra the haste and double their attack. So it ended up swinging for like 16 with trample all in one turn. Plus everything else was attacking too. So he swung in for like 25 on turn 5. Wow. I was like, who the fuck? How do you do against that? Unless I had a Supreme Verdict, like there's no way any deck's gonna win against that shit.
Exactly.
But I know that if I kept playing, if he kept playing or whatever, he would eventually have a match that he didn't have that perfect ramp, and then his deck would be all for shit. Mm-hmm. So, but it was fun playing him. But man, I was surprised when I saw him playing the green monsters. I was like, oh cool, I have a deck that's decent against that. A lot of removal, yada yada.
Yeah.
No, he just had perfect. Both games we played, he had perfect draws, perfect. Top decking shit, when on turn 5 he had 5 fucking lands and like 6 creatures. It was perfect. His hand was empty. So that's what happened. I went 2-3 and I had a fucking great time. I'm gonna keep playing this Festering Newt deck, and I don't know. It was great. So
sounds good.
Anyways, we can move on now, right?
Spoilers! Get your spoilers here. You might remember from a half an episode ago.
So you mean the beginning of this episode?
That's too much math, dude. So we were just so goddamn excited about the spoilers that we had to do a mostly spoiler cast last week.
A pre-spoiler spoiler?
Yeah, all the spoilers weren't even out yet. We just had to talk about the ones that were. And so we had to do it sans Reich. Fortunately, Reich is with us today, so we can talk about the rest of the spoilers.
I thought I would grace you guys with my presence today, so.
And we appreciate it, sir. So let's hop into the spoilers. What, Reich?
So, well, first of all, if we're going to be talking about the cards that we didn't talk about on the last podcast. So if you didn't get to, if you're just tuning in now and you didn't check out our last podcast, go check it out now to get the rest of the first half of the spoilers. And right now we're just going over the second half.
Yeah, go ahead and open your web browser to Mythic Spoilers and check out the spoilers.
Follow along.
Yeah. The last time there was like 56 cards, I believe, out of the 165 that were spoiled, and they were most of the rares and most of the mythics. So we covered, just so you know, we covered basically those. The only god that wasn't out was Farika, God of Affliction. So I think we should talk about that first.
Was Athreus out?
Athreus was out that morning. We were able to come. We were able to like do the podcast, look at our phones, or look at the tablet or whatever, and be like, "Oh shit, look at this fucking thing!" And it was like amazing,
Yeah, I woke up and I usually go to bed watching some streams on Twitch and stuff like that, and I was like, oh yeah, PAX is on. And I know they do a lot of panels and streaming like that, so I turned it on to the Magic panel because it happened to be on at that time, and the page loaded, the stream came up, and that was like the first thing on the screen. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Like, I instantly woke up, I was all excited, and I was like, yeah, let's go do the podcast. I'm excited to talk about this.
Fuck yeah.
So, Reich, what are you excited about?
Man. Well, wait, we gotta talk about Farika.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Farika, God of
Just
crap.
get that out of the way, because that's
God of awful.
So we can cover all the gods.
Yeah.
That can be done.
So Farika's a god. Anyways,
that's about it. She's a god, or he's a god, I don't even know what it is. It's God.
So I think Farika, okay, first of all, it's only 3 Mianas. It's 1 black and a green, for obviously, like all the gods. A legendary enchantment creature god, indestructible. As long as you have devotion to black and green, less than 7, Freak isn't a creature. And it's an activated ability. You pay a black and a green. Exile target creature card from a graveyard. Its owner puts a 1/1 black and green snake enchantment creature token with death touch on the battlefield.
Why its owner? Why? How dare you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's only a 1/1 death touch. Just give me all of them.
I think, well, if they,
Fucking bastards.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this card. Like, I think it's, like, okay, but I think it could have been better. But I think if it would have been, if you exile a target creature from anyone's graveyard and you get that 1/1, I think that might have been a little too powerful.
Well, I mean, look at like
3 mana.
all the some of the other gods. You know, they're like
Yeah.
bonkers, and then they like have to nerf some of them so hard.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed because I was hoping for the green-black, or the Golgari god to be actually, like, a thing, but...
So
Like a powerhouse.
this god fits into a real niche deck, which is the Reanimator deck. Basically, if you like mill yourself away one of your mana dorks or like a Satyr Wayfinder that you don't need anymore, you can just get them out of your graveyard and put a decent defender on the ground. Other than that, I don't see why you would play this card.
Well, what I see, it's feeling it's like it's a niche role, but we have to think about, okay, so what's rotating out that Freaka is going to replace? Scavenging Ooze, Rest in Peace, all the good like graveyard hate cards are rotating out. And I think this is like the first step into like introducing the new graveyard hate, because I do feel like the graveyard is going to become more of a thing moving forward into M15, into the next set. So they need to have ways to hate on the graveyard so that you're not screwed and you can't interact with that type of strategy. Especially like the Reanimator decks and things like that. Have the Satyr Wayfinder. You have one of the new cards we'll talk about too. Mills yourself as well. So you can get those fatty creatures into the graveyard, and then you can use like your rescue from the underworld or something like that. Opposite Aid's obviously rotating out, but that's another one you can use for now until it does. So I think that's what they're slowly moving into. Because like I said, Scavenging Ooze and Rest in Peace, like your two main graveyard hate guys. Like even Scavenging Ooze, it's a beast on its own. And Rest in Peace sees play in every format, so like I think that's where they're trying to go. And yeah, I agree that the owner getting the 1/1 stake kind of sucks, but there's a lot of ways to deal with the 1/1. So
I'm gonna be sad once
I will say it could be a little too overpowered if you could just keep like bringing out 2 to 3 1/1 death touches every single turn and just ride that like a pack rat train.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty shitty.
Yeah, I would just completely stonewall like aggro or.
It's too conditional. Like pack rat, you have pack rat out, you go to town. This, you need creatures in the graveyard, whether it's your graveyard or their graveyard.
Things to die.
So yeah, you need to set it up, and then you're paying a green and a black for 1/1 death touch.
Because like turn 4, like how many creatures you're gonna have in the graveyard?
Exactly.
Maybe 1 on both sides. So like
that doesn't do anything against trample or flying.
No, yeah, exactly. Like one thing it does play into that's really good is that they are enchantment creatures. So we have a new mechanic in this set, which is Constellation. So I do see it playing well with that mechanic.
Oh, yeah, I'd pick it up in limited for sure. But.
Yeah, I mean but the whole thing is like I see is like it takes too long to get that kind of combo going, and it doesn't really provide much. So it seems kind of awkward right now, the card, but we still have a lot of stuff to go through M15 in the new set to see what we can what support she can have. So.
Yeah, I think the card that I'm most mad about so far that I've seen is fucking Master of the Feast. I don't know. Yeah. So Master of the Feast is an enchantment creature demon, right? It's a mouthful. It's 2 black and 1 colorless mana, and it's a fucking 5/5 flying demon, and it says at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent draws a card, which is, I mean, that's cool that each opponent draws a card, but I don't think that's a big enough downside.
It's Desecration Demon's little brother.
Yeah, 3 mana, 5/5. Turn 3, you're putting out a 5/5
flyer.
With the only downside is that your opponent gets to draw a card, like big deal.
Yeah.
And then fucking turn 4, all Mr. Desi demons coming out, and just like, oh, I'm a 6/6 for 4. Like this is. I mean, I don't like this card at all.
I think it's awesome. I know.
This card is too fucking good, but
it is.
Yeah, I hate black.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so mad that, oh god, black's getting even more ammunition. Like, let's just give mono black some more good
And the same
shit.
thing with if you later on, there's going to be like discard decks out there. So, so who cares? Oh, draw a card. Well, I'm going to make you discard a card. Who cares? You know.
It's like what's Night Veil Spectre? He's 3 mana or 2, right?
Yeah.
And he's a 2/3. And it's fuck Night Veil Spectre. Let's just get goddamn Master of Feast out there for a 5/5. Like, how are you going to deal with this? As a red green monster, I'm thinking like, well, fuck.
There are other cards that like.
You have to start running like Deadly Recluse. And shit.
I need something.
There's that one card that gives out like it gives a haste and intimidate to target creature or whatever. There's that other one. It's like a 1/3 Marauder. Yeah, like shit like that.
Yeah.
Team it up with this, and then you get to like haste in for the 5. I mean, there's other ways to get around it, and that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
To see this thing hit with haste.
One thing, like going back to the Night Veil versus this guy and Desecration Demon and the whole mono black devotion thing is that I'm very I'm thrown off that there's no hybrid mana costs in this set. We see all the devotion decks now. They run like Night Veil Spectre because it provides 3 devotion and it runs in the top 2 devotion decks, mono blue, mono black. But there's no hybrid casting costs in this set, which is kind of weird because.
What do you mean by hybrid casting costs?
Hybrid meaning you can pay. So there's a cost you have to pay like 2 or 3 mana, and you can pay either blue or black. So like Night Veil Spectre has a hybrid mana cost where it's 3 blue or black. So and you can do any combination of the 2 colors in there, which provides it plays right into devotion very nicely. Because, like, how many cards that have 3 colored mana symbols in their casting costs? There's not many, right? Any in this set. So, seeing Night Veil Spectre going is gonna hurt the devotion decks, I think, a lot. But I think they're giving them different ways to attack the board rather than just going straight devotion, which is Master of Feast, pretty much. So.
He is definitely going in my discard.
God,
deck.
Master of Feast. I'm so mad.
Sick.
I look at the spoilers, and when I evaluate cards on the spoilers, I just like thinking, how badly is this going to fuck red green over right now? And it's just like Master of Feast is like, oh well, there it is.
Yeah, you got a 4/4 for 5 mana and Stormbright Dragon, and mono black gets 5/5 for 3.
Yeah,
that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
since Mono Black is taking it so hard these days,
I know,
I mean,
Mono Black is beat down so bad. They're trying to throw him a bone, like, oh, Mono Black, I know you're just top tier, just number 1.
Dude,
like, let's throw you a little bone.
At TCG Player, it shows like the deck lists, what's top and how many top 8s that deck has done. And Mono Black Devotion is double what's in second place.
Nice.
Like, it is dominating still.
So, speaking of Mono Black, I don't know if this is going to be played. But I'm just excited for it. It's the Black Dictate of Erebos. It's a 3 black enchantment.
You're excited.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Flash. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Wasn't there one like this before?
Yes, it's an older card.
It was like 3
it costs
mana.
like 1 less, I think.
I think it's 4 mana, I believe.
4.
Yeah.
It was on Duels of the Planeswalker, I remember playing in the zombie deck.
Yeah,
I can't think of the name of it, though.
Didn't have Flash, though.
Didn't have
No, it didn't
Flash.
have Flash. I think that's why they made it cost 1 more.
But
Grave
this
Pact.
is sweet.
Grave Pact is
Right,
the card.
right.
It's 1 in triple black enchantment. Whenever creature you control is put in the graveyard from play, each other player sacrifices a creature.
Sweet.
So you if you're gonna play like an older format or like Grab Bag Draft or something like that, you get a Grave Pact and you get the ticket of Erebos. Like, good luck. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for Dictate.
Yeah, I mean, just like especially I think it plays really well. into a lot of what Mono Black wants to do.
Yeah, I think
any black deck, pretty much.
I think Black got some good cards. White also really got some nice cards that spoiled so far.
Yeah, they did.
I'm calling it right now and saying White's the best color.
Like White is just, I think they're just getting all the good toys right now. Like they got, Deicide, which is a white mana, 1 colorless, so it's 2 mana in total, and it's pretty much like a God Doomblade or an enchantment Doomblade. So it says exile target enchantment. If the exiled card is a God card, searches controller's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards of the same name, and that card, and with the same name as that card, and exile them, and then that player shuffle his or her library. So not only does you can kill a God, but you get rid of all the gods out of their hand and their library, which is just stupid crazy.
And one line of play that I didn't see, I heard from somebody else is, so say they play a Scryland, and they keep something on top, you can deicide something, and have them shuffle that top card away. So it's like, if you're going to use it anyways, there's an enchantment on the board that you want to take care of, and you can wait to hold off till they scry. And so they're like, oh, okay, so they're in a spot where they have like a couple outs, and they put a card on top like right away. You're just like, okay,
I want to shuffle that out.
That's the out they want. I need to take care of this threat anyways, so I'm just going to fire it off right now until, you can shuffle that away.
It's going to be so good and limited. It's going to be able to hit everything. Cause like a lot of the creatures in this set are going to be enchantment creatures, and there's going to be a ton of enchantment. It's like all the synergy is revolving around enchantments, either enchantments or enchantment creatures.
Dude, this card lets you look at their library too.
And
if you don't know what you're playing, you get to get all the information from their hand.
If it's a God card, you can
they could have one guard on the board, or whatever, and they could be like, oh, I'm not playing any of their gods. Be like, I don't care. I'm still going to look at your shit. I'm not looking for anything. I'm just going to look through it, see what you got going on, and then you're going to shuffle that shit, and I'm going to be semi-ready for it.
I just think it's bonkers. It's 2 mana.
2 mana instant, dude. Come on.
Yeah, it's an instant, so it's
2
way
mana
better.
in a set with revolves around gods. Oh my lord!
It is definitely way better than Revoke Existence, because this is instant where Revoke Existence is sorcery. Revoke Existence can hit artifacts, but right now, what kind of artifacts are we looking to hit? Pithy Needle, Elixir, and there's plenty of ways to deal with those anyway. Later on we'll go into some of the artifacts and equipment that's coming out in the Journey, because I want to touch on some of those. I think they're really strong. You might have one Revoke in the sideboard now because, you want to hit these artifacts if they see a lot of play. But I think that Deicide is going to just take it over.
I think it's the art that makes me the most mad.
I'll do a foil version of this.
Fucking art.
It's cool, yeah.
Fucking Elspeth stabbing my Lord and Savior gentleman.
That's right. All praise Elspeth.
It is done.
It is done, sir.
It's the flavor text.
Man.
It's great.
Yeah, that one's crazy. And then another white one? They're getting an O-ring reprint.
Oh yes, so good.
Oblivion Ring, which I think it's called Banishing Light. It's 3 mana, 2 colors, 1 white, and it says when Banishing Light enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Banishing Light leaves the battlefield. So it is just Oblivion Ring, but not Oblivion Ring.
So sick though.
But now people play Modern, they have, if they want to run 8 Oblivion Rings, they can run 8 Oblivion Rings. So that's kind of
seriously
cool.
Yeah, that and the what is it, the blue-white one that they have right now?
The Detention Sphere.
So it's kind of like that, but you don't have to splash blue. Yeah. That's sweet. I mean, it's not quite as strong, but in most cases it's the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're trading off, power for being able to splash this in a lot of other decks. Because, the blue-white restriction is just, you have to be playing Azorius, so you're most likely playing Control. There's only one deck I've ever seen that ran Detention Sphere, and that was the blue-white Devotion.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a lot more splashable. I see this as, we're talking about Oblivion Ring and Modern. They had to change the template of the wording, so you can't do any crazy blinking out shenanigans and exiling like one card for good and then like exiling another card because it comes back into play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in the older formats, Oblivion Ring's still going to see more play just because you have those lines of play open to you. But this could be like Oblivion Ring like 5 and 6 in those decks, because it's so good. This type of effect is always, a powerhouse pretty much.
Hell yeah.
So, it kind of loses some of its it kind of loses some of its value because they did bring a lot of enchantment hate this time around in Theros block because it's solely an enchantment based set, but it's still gonna see tons of play.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Black finally got a decent heroic creature.
Oh, which one is that one?
Blood Crazed Hoplite for 1 and a
God,
black.
that guy.
That gentleman.
It's a 2/1. He has heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Blood Crazed Hoplite, put a 1/1 counter on it. Whenever a 1/1 counter is placed on Blood Crazed Hoplite, Jesus, remove a 1/1 counter from target creature an opponent controls.
Yes.
Not too shabby. I mean, I'm a fan of Agent of Fates, but I mean this is pretty fucking awesome too.
This guy curves right into Agent of Fates, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy, Agent of Fates, it's a good heroic strategy hoser. Like, you can have like this guy out. They play a Wingsting Rider, try to God's Willing their guy, and then you just heroic enable your guy, and then you remove that counter from it. So it's kind of like trying to keep the red, white, red, blue, or white, blue heroic decks down, pretty much. Especially since Black, it wasn't a really strong heroic
That
color.
was the worst heroic color.
I think this will bring it up on par with the rest of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of good cards coming out. There's a lot of good commons and uncommons, but
Speaking of uncommons, Hot Sauce, Fellhide, Petrifier,
Peanifier?
Petrifier?
Just stop. You're
Petrifier. Yeah, the Minotaur. Death Touch Minotaur. All Minotaur
3-drop.
creatures you control have Death Touch.
It's 2/3 for 3.
2 for 3 for 3.
Not too
Isn't there a bunch
shabby
of
for
3-drops already for a
There's a
Minotaur?
lot.
It is a lot. There's
That's
a lot.
that's like the 20th 3-drop for a Minotaur.
Pretty much.
tribal.
But still, you're definitely putting at least like one or
I'd
two of
probably
these in,
throw
right?
2. I'd probably throw 2, yeah. There's a lot of options now, and it's still not... I don't feel like the deck is still going to be top tier, but I'm excited.
I think it's going to be better than like the Slivers deck in M14.
I think so, too, yeah.
Slivers was just a joke. That was
Yeah.
I think I think that those cards were not Slivers when they made them, but then they were like, oh, we're just going to bring Slivers back.
Yeah,
and
get people
they
excited.
turned them into Slivers.
It's exciting, though, for a
Yeah.
casual player. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a good time playing with it, but I understand that it's not going to win you anything.
Just the fact that like they're all in 5 colors, and you'd have to like go 3 or 4 colors just to have a good sliver selection. Like just taxing the mana base like that is just too hard.
Yeah, that's why I bought
too
those.
inconsistent.
I bought those Chromatic Lanterns because of that
Yeah.
deck. I had 3 of those in there, and then I was able to play every color, but still it's vulnerable. If that thing gets destroyed or if I can't find it, then I have cards in my hand that I can't fucking play,
Yeah.
so it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I'm just looking through all like if you just kind of go through all these uncommons and everything. There's just too many to go through, but I mean, if you're just looking through them, it makes me want to just get limited going like right now. I just can't wait to
Really,
start,
though, it does. It's
start,
gonna be
start
awesome.
drafting this.
Dude, I
this
can't wait
shit.
So
for
much
the-
better than Born of the Gods.
I can't wait for the pre-release. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
because it's sealed.
What are you guys going to choose? What color?
Oh, I think I'm going black. White,
If I make it to this pre-release, I'm going white. I think.
white looks like the best color,
I
but
think everyone's
I'm
gonna
just
go white, though.
I'm a sucker for black. Like I'm just everything in here, and
Just like it black.
I like it black. I like my cards like I like my coffee. Hot.
hot and expensive.
Yeah, okay.
Hot and expensive. No, but I mean, black's in Theros and kind of in Born of the Gods. Black is still pretty decent. So I think adding this, black gets good early drop with Farika's Chosen. It's 1/1 for 1 Death Touch. So that's definitely needed for like the black, blue, or black X decks.
Yeah, but there's
Justin, you go white?
Huh?
Would you go white?
Yeah, I'm going white. Even though I like blue.
Quickness?
Yeah, even though I like blue as my favorite color, I think in this set white, it's just too good to pass
Yeah, I
up.
think so too.
Yeah.
You guys better get there early. 'Cause white's gonna
Yeah.
be hit up.
It'll be gone.
White's gonna be a
gone,
whore.
gone. But yeah, if I can make it, I don't know. I'd go white, but blue has some cool stuff, but I just feel like white is just so much better right now.
All right, what do you guys think about this card? Skybind. It's an enchantment for 3 colorless and 2 white. I will read it right now. It's an enchantment, just board enchantment with Constellation. Whenever Skybind or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, exile target non-enchantment permanent. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. What do you guys think of that card? What do you think it
bounce.
could work for? It's a bounce spell for
Yeah.
something that's non-enchantment, any
I think-
permanent. So if you have, I'm thinking like, you have an
Bounce
enter the
something of your
battlefield
own.
effect, you can do it to yourself
Yeah.
and keep bringing shit back in and keep doing the combo. Also, you can take out one of their guys if it's being a bother. You can go ahead and if
Like
they enter
suited
combat
up or heroic something.
yeah, you can go ahead and just bounce it or whatever.
Is
and they
Ashen
can't
Rider
attack.
an enchantment, or is that
No,
a regular
it's not an
enchantment?
enchantment. So you can go ahead and bounce that too.
Yeah.
It won't trigger the second effect because it's not dying.
Yeah, that's true.
But it'll trigger the first one again, so you'll be able to exile target permanent again. There's all kinds of shit like that. It's an interesting card. I'm seeing what people were going to use it for.
I was trying to go through like all the sets and like try to find all the good enter the battlefield effect creatures and stuff like that. Like the thing that I was running into a problem with is that you run out of just enchantments to play. Because you get to a point where you're just playing enchantments just for the effect.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know how we were talking about like Farika. Like Farika, you can play like a junk deck with Farika and this card. And then you just exile a bunch of stuff from your graveyard, and then keep bouncing stuff with the battlefield effect. So that's one reliable way to keep producing the effect. But you run into a problem where you can't put. You either have to run a lot of enchantments to abuse the effect, or you run into a problem where you're just playing like some crappy enchantments, you know, a couple of them here or there. And you don't like have enough creatures, or you have like too many creatures and not enough enchantments to abuse the effect. So it's kind of in that weird state right now where it's kind of showing that it could be a powerhouse, and it's kind of, you know, really showing its vulnerabilities to a lot of other strategies.
Right.
So.
I thought it was an interesting reading card.
Yeah,
You know,
I like it.
There's definitely got to be something there.
Commander or Modern,
Gotta be
maybe you
something.
can take over. But I feel like it can do. It's it's very flexible.
It's positioned to take over pretty much. It's just you need a couple other cards to get there.
Best art of the whole set: Riptide Chimera.
Yeah, that's the most ridiculous
Just
shit.
go
ever.
look it up. It is a flying shark eel.
It is.
That's putting it
It's
lightly.
like the weirdest fucking thing ever.
I remember
with
when
red
I-
eyes.
Yeah, I remember when I saw it. I immediately texted you guys and was like, "Oh my god!"
I look at the flavor text. Kiyora's like, I want one. I want a double shark-headed
Oh my
flying
God.
whatever monstrosity.
Oh my god.
So
It's
sick.
just a random shark head,
Yeah.
dude. It totally looks like it doesn't fit. Like,
So this guy, just because it's two colorless and a blue, it's an enchantment creature chimera. Flying, at the beginning of your upkeep, return an enchantment you control to its owner's hand, and it's a 3/4. So, I mean, I think for limited it'd be fun if you had something to like bounce this thing back and forth to keep the same thing, bring it back.
oh yeah, if you have like one of those, you know, enchantment, like 2 drops that draws you a card or
Some
whatever
crap like
it is.
that. Right,
yeah,
right.
the cantrip ones.
That'd be
Shark
funny, but it's
head, dude.
stupid. It's,
Oh
it's
god,
funny,
it just reminds me of like a Sharknado.
That's exactly what I thought.
Sharknado, dude.
It's just like a crappy sci-fi movie, like fucking art.
Oh,
Imagine
man.
them drawing this up. They're like laughing at you guys. They're like, look at what we
Like,
did.
hold on, this eel head. We need a shark coming out of this side.
Yeah.
Can we get a shark in there?
Oh wait, we got one shark head. You know what? Fucking 2 shark heads. Yeah, 2 shark heads.
Oh god,
Dude,
abomination.
look at that ass on Spiteful Blow, though. Woo!
What is this? What's Spiteful Blow?
Oh, that's
It's,
Yeah.
it's a 4/black, destroy target creature and target land. But look at that ass. I
Yeah,
mean,
look at
that
it.
is
All right.
sexy.
look at this right here.
Look at that.
Oh my god,
at that ass.
that butt.
That's not a butt. I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
Oh
Get
man.
out of here. I was looking up and down. I'm like, what butt are you guys talking about?
Where the ass is
Got
at?
it. Got it.
No, it's
Got
it's
it?
a fist, but it looks
Sick
the way the
hell.
art is. It looks like this ass is just blowing out ass.
Just
The jewels are flying everywhere.
let out a fart of the gods.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
Ugh.
One card I wanted to talk about is Passes Irie or something like that. It's an enchantment for single blue, and you pay. It has an activated ability. You pay 3 and a blue, and you may tap or untap target creature. So I think it's going to be good and limited. I saw a combo somebody brought up with Blue Devotion and
The inspired stuff.
no. What happens? You just play like normal Blue Devotion enablers. So you know you have like Judge's Familiar, or Frostburn Weird and stuff like that. And then what you do is you play this enchantment plus Kiyora's Follower, and then what you do is you have Nykthos. So what you do is you tap Nykthos for a bunch of mana with Devotion.
Right.
Use Kior's Follower to untap Nykthos.
Tap it again.
And then you tap it again, and then you use the enchantment to untap Kior's Follower. And then you can tap Nykthos, or you tap Kior's Follower, untap Nykthos, and it's just like an infinite mana loop. You're just constantly creating a bunch of mana.
Well, isn't it done then?
Huh?
If you use Kior's, after you just said, if you use Kior's Follower, tap Kior's Follower to untap Nykthos.
Well,
Isn't that the end of it?
But
No,
this
'cause
doesn't tap.
You're floating.
Oh, that doesn't tap. I thought that the
As long as you
enchantment
pay
taps.
the 4 mana.
Oh, so it is
tap
enchantment.
whatever you
Okay.
want.
So you're floating mana, so you're always going to have enough mana. So like, I was thinking of going like Simic, and then you can have like the Simic God in there where you can store all the mana you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can also play the Hydra Broodmaster, put out like a shit ton of guys.
Is there a
stuff
card
like
that you can just draw cards by paying mana? Like, is there a way that without tapping something, if you just like, is there a card that says like pay 4, draw a card, or anything like that?
Sphinx's Revelation?
No, but you need
Erebos?
you need an activated ability, like Erebos. Like
Well, Erebos, you're eventually going to reach a point where you can't pay any more
Yeah,
life.
kill your.
No, that's fine. That's what I
yeah.
mean. Without paying,
No,
life.
yeah,
What
yeah.
else is there besides Erebos that maybe that could work with too?
I don't think anything in limited or standard. It might be something in like legacy, but that seems like a super broken.
That's what I'm saying. If you can help out unlimited mana,
you gotta,
and you can draw as many cards as you care to.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
That, or you can have a Nylea, the god out, and you can just pump all your guys. Something like that.
That's good too, yeah,
You just gotta find like really good mana sinks, and then I think
That's the way to do it. See, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's a nice little
so
combo.
that it fits well with the Simic God, and then you have Kiora, and then you're playing blue, so you have a lot of good disruption and draw cards and stuff like that. You have the green side for really big creatures and stuff. So it could be a thing.
That's cool. No, that's really interesting.
You know what this card is really good for? Heroic and Inspired.
Yep.
Because it targets the creature, so if it's heroic,
No, it
works.
doesn't, because
Well,
you can't target that way.
The
It's only
heroic doesn't
spells.
trigger from.
Oh yeah, it's casting.
Yeah, so
Damn it.
it will be inspired.
Inspired.
It'll be
Inspired, though,
But there was one thing. There was like only 13 inspired creatures in all Born of the Gods.
Okay.
So, and I don't really see many in Journey. So, Inspire seems like one of the things that they wanted to do, but they couldn't really get it to work right. So they kind of just let it.
Then,
go
yeah,
by
it didn't work
King
that well.
Makar!
We talked about the last time.
The
No?
golden. Yeah, no, but I'm
Okay,
just saying
but it's
that's that's like the best,
King
one of the
Midas.
best ones.
King Midas.
They got the Midas.
Yeah,
He is
I mean
sick.
that guy with Springleaf from. Oh man.
Yeah.
You get 2 mana and you get the exile a creature.
Or Hands of Binding,
Yeah, I can do that. Too.
tap and untap.
But yeah, the flavor of this whole set is just like dripping with good stuff. I love it. I love all of the art, and I love all the little flavor text, and it's just
Yeah,
so
it's
good.
it's getting really good.
But,
We have Invisible Stalker back on the field.
no, I know.
It's Triton Shore Stalker. It's 1 blue for a 1/1, and Triton Shore Stalker can't be blocked.
Yeah, so the fucking art's the best too. It's like he just like comes sneaking up behind this dude, just like fishing.
Yeah,
Like, I'm making
loading up his boat. Like I'm gonna go make my daily's wage and stuff like that, and he just
Fucking
dies.
Stupid
Nice.
mermans.
Yeah, so you could put like
Merfolk.
God's
Mermans.
End on it. You could put like just to get the +3/+3 because that's really relevant. You have a 4/4 unblockable. So you're putting a big clock on him. And you can put like a bunch of other equipment on it. I think it's gonna be really good.
Nice. Well,
Don't we have some big news that we should announce to
we
everybody?
do have big news. Ba-ba-da-ba. We actually have our fucking website up that we've been talking about for the past 5.5 episodes. So check us out, iflandscouldkill.com.
Can you believe that the domain wasn't taken?
I know,
believe
right?
it.
It's so popular.
I know, right?
So right now we just have like the YouTube videos on there. Eventually we're gonna have it so you can just download our episodes straight from there. It's still a work in progress, but we came through. We actually fucking said it, and then we did it, and then
Hooray.
look it up.
So Quickness is our website person,
Liaison.
website manager, whatever you want to call it. So he's the one that's been taking care of it. It's been pretty awesome. I mean, it's
Looks
slick.
good.
I'm
Looks
excited.
really
I'm
good.
excited.
So we have that. We would appreciate it if everyone could check out the site. That'd be cool. Let us know what you guys think, what you guys want to see on it. But for starts, just likes on Facebook and fucking follow us on Twitter and maybe leave a comment on iTunes. Just stuff to pump us up and get us out there, and other people can stumble upon us and see that, people are liking us, people are enjoying what they're here listening to, and so why don't I give it a listen, you know what I mean? So if we don't have a lot of numbers out there, then it might stop some people from even checking us out. It's a possibility. So anyways.
If you like us, say something. If you don't like us, say something.
Yeah, same thing. Exactly.
Yeah. So what I was going to do is once I get back home, we leave after done with the podcast, I'll put up a little link on the main site that says like contact us or something, so that if you have any questions, comments, you want us to talk about something, or you want to know what to do in a certain situation, or what about a brew or something, you can send us an email and we'll touch on it on a podcast. We'll update the site to reflect whatever you guys need and things like that. So I'll get that up by today for sure. So that people can start emailing us with things, concerns.
Get our own email addresses for each person.
Yeah,
we can do that eventually.
Eventually, yeah,
cool.
that'll be set. But
I would like to have a business card with hot sauce at iflanspitful.com.
Dude, what is this on the show notes? Dick
jokes.
Oh, dick jokes.
Oh yeah, that's important. That's our new segment.
Yeah,
called
introducing a new segment.
Dick jokes.
The hardest dick jokes you know.
Yeah. There's so many dick jokes running through my head right now. Dicks. So let's hop into our actual new segment, newest installment of Noob's Knowledge. Knowledge. This week we're going to be talking about, basic keywords on cards.
I think we'll touch on like two of them. To go over.
Yeah, it'll be like in installments. We'll go as much as we can. We're going to pretty much go over a lot of the ins and outs of how to play Magic, pretty much. Like the keywords. Eventually we'll go over stack, phases, lines of play.
So
like that.
Which ones do you guys want to tackle today?
I think we should definitely touch on Lifelink, because that's a really big one that you see a lot. It's pretty much really prevalent in like all the formats.
I think like maybe like Lifelink, Trample, Death Touch maybe, because those are like, especially with beginners and new players and things like that, it's some of the things they're kind of drawn to. Lifelink, my creature, whenever it attacks or blocks, I get life back? Yeah, hell yeah, I want that. Or, it's a 1/1 but it has Death Touch and it can kill any creature at once pretty much, as long as it can block it, Mm-hmm. So I think those ones are really geared, or not geared, but beginners and new players and things like that are more attracted to.
Yeah, right? I think Trample's like kind of the one I feel that's mostly kind of, you can run into issues where you think it makes sense, but the way it plays out, people may not understand exactly how
and
it works.
It's like some of this stuff is like we just figured out like a couple weeks ago, like
right.
Oh yeah, that does do that and that and that. So let's
Trample?
Yeah, let's do Trample. So
okay.
Trample is pretty much, it just means whenever you deal damage and a creature blocks that damage, the leftover damage is carried through. So say I have a 4/4 Trampler creature, and someone blocks me with a 1/1 just a chump blocker, just a token or something like that. Essentially, all that means is when they fight and the defender throws himself in front of the Trampler guy, you have to assign enough damage to kill the guy that's standing in front of your guy or your creature.
Yeah, you always have to assign lethal.
Yeah, you always have to have enough damage to kill the blocking creature, but whatever damage is left over that was not used to kill that creature follows through to the either the planeswalker or the player, the target player. So that's the saying I think that a lot of the Magic people say is creatures always, if you think they're attacking, like punching another creature, they always follow through with their attacks. They don't hold their attacks back, so they always punch and follow through. So
they always deal all of their attacking damage.
Yeah, so
regardless of the situation.
Yeah, so say how a chump blocker can block a 4/4 non-trampler, because the creature will always attack with all 4 of his power, and all of it goes into that creature. But the trample essentially says that you can only just do 1 damage to him, and the rest will always flow through to the player. all the rest of the damage rather.
So also, that was a perfect description of trample. I did not know this until, I don't know, a couple months ago, that if you have a creature with trample and death touch, like Reich was saying, you deal damage enough to kill the creature and the rest goes through. So if you have death touch, you only need to do 1 damage to whatever, like, let's say they triple block your guy because they want to kill it, you know? All you have to do is 1 damage to each creature, 1 damage to the first one, 1 damage to the second one, because you have fucking death touch.
Yeah.
And the rest flows through to the player or the planeswalker.
That's why that word assign is so important when you say it.
Yeah,
You could word it a lot simpler than that, but using the word assign will make sure that the listener or whatever is aware that you assign 1 damage to this thing and the rest goes through. You know what I mean? You can pick and choose rather than just it absorbing any number that its toughness is. So.
And trample does go through protection, I believe. It does trample through protection.
Yeah. Right, you only protect for whatever the creature's
You still have to
toughness is.
assign lethal to the creature.
Yeah.
You always have to assign lethal for trample to go through, but if it has protection, you can still
leftover
trample
will
over.
still go through.
Right. So you can attack him with your 4/4. He has a 2/2 with protection from your color. You have to assign 2 to that creature, and then the other 2 can trample past it.
Yeah.
Now that
even though that 2
creature
damage would
that damage was
kill
prevented to it, but you still have to assign that damage.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. It doesn't prevent damage going through at all, which is a misconception that we had before. Is that if we attacked with our 4/4 and it had protection, that just means that the damage was completely stopped, which is not true.
Yeah.
It only stopped that 2 damage. It only stopped its toughness. So that's one of those things. The other thing I remember. Well, let's see. I was thinking about the Pelucranos with his monstrosity. This goes more into death touch. You're allowed to assign, because you only need to pick 1. You only need to have 1 damage go through to kill something or whatever. So you're able to monstrosity Pelucranos with his ability and go ahead and just assign 1 damage. He can fight everything, just 1 damage, and kill the whole
As
thing.
long as it
We're
has
talking
death touch.
about Pelucranos
With
and
the
bow of
Nylea.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Or some other way to
you
make
have
it
to
a
make
death
sure Pelucranos is attacking first,
Yep.
and then you can monstrous it, and then assign 1 damage
Right.
to each thing in front of it, each thing on the board, and then it kills it. And then,
Right. You can do monstrosity at instant speed.
Yep.
So after you declare attackers, then you go, all right, before you declare blockers or whatever step you wanted to, I'm going to go ahead and monstrosity this guy out for whatever. I'm going to tap, let's say I'm going to tap 7 mana, so that means it's going to give me 3 to distribute, and then you go ahead and just be like 1, 2, 3, that's it.
Yeah.
And that'll wipe out their shit as long
Or
as
you
don't
can
hexproof
not
or
even
whatever.
distribute anything to. You don't have to deal damage. Like a lot of times, people don't know that monstrosity for Pelucranos.
Right.
You don't actually, when you monstrosity him, if you don't want to assign any damage to any creature, you don't have to.
You just want to pump them up bigger.
if you just want to make them bigger, you don't have to assign damage. The keyword is you may assign combat or
So that went onto the death touch thing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of skipping ahead, but it is something that I just thought of right now that Quickness was telling me a few months back. That was like, oh shit, that's fantastic. And it works. It comes about like decently. It comes about pretty often if you're playing a mono green strategy. So
Exactly.
So what else about trample?
Yeah, does anybody else have trample before we move on to death touch? Since we've been talking about death touch a little bit with trample, since they do kind of combo well with each other.
It's that same thing. Is that if you have trample, and they have if you're attacking with your 4/4 with trample, and they have a 1/1 with death touch, 3 damage is going to go through, and 1's going to hit theirs, but you're still going to die. It's just one of those things that, I'm sure you guys know that, but that's just one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just going to briefly touch over these because they're kind of self-explanatory. We just want to make sure everybody has a firm grasp on the keyword.
Especially with the corner cases that we're talking about.
Exactly.
It's like, some people don't know. I didn't fucking know until I heard, somewhere about the death touch and trample. I was like, oh yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But
you just don't think of that.
Yeah,
that
I
way.
didn't intuitively know that.
Yeah. That's what makes Magic great. There's so many little ins and outs and little lines of play you can make, and they make it so they word it so these things are available to people to do. So that's why it's so great. But yeah, if anybody else has anything on to say on trample, I guess we should move on to death touch.
Yeah, let's talk about death touch.
Death touch. So death touch is any.
It says any amount of damage this deals to a creature is enough to destroy it.
So it could be 1 damage, it could be 20 damage. It just all has, as long as at least 1 point of damage is applied.
And it says damage, not combat damage.
Yeah.
So things that make creatures fight
Follow the Hammer, Domri.
Exactly.
Like that.
Pit bite.
Right.
Mhm.
It will deal its death touch damage and kill whatever it is.
So if you have a card that says prevent combat damage or something like that, some kind of fog, some kind of the protection, all that stuff, it's never able to do that damage. So that means it'll never kill
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean?
if you can prevent the damage or put its attack 0 or under, like if you were to put some sort of
So say you have like a 4/4 Death Toucher, and you bio, or you say no, it's you have a 3/3 Death Toucher, and you bio blight it. Now it goes down to or like a 3/4 or whatever.
3/4, right? So it's still alive, but it's a zero power.
So it's a 0/1, so it's never dealing any damage, so it can't kill anything.
exactly. It still might be attacking, but it's not dealing any damage.
It's like trying to bite a wall. You just can't do it.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking of. It's a perfect example. Right?
Perfect analogy.
One thing I wanted to bring up because it says it destroys it, so it's really relevant to know, and especially in this set since we have a lot of indestructible stuff.
Yep.
That death touch does not kill an indestructible creature because it says destroy, and indestructible prevents anything that destroys it. So that's one thing to look out for. That death touch is great because it kills pretty much everything, but if it has protection or
Another thing to look for is first strike.
First strike too.
A creature, if you're going to go up against a creature or it's attacking you, yeah, exactly. First strike, double strike. So we'll probably talk about that too. But first strike is it's two different kinds of two different phases of damage. So when a creature with first strike, when it attacks or when it has combat or whatever, it'll apply that first strike damage first, and then it'll move on to the second phase of damage where they both attack each other or whatever, however it goes. Anyway, so
we'll go in more into that. But
right. But the death touch thing is important because if you have a death touch guy and he has a first strike guy, don't go try to chump block him thinking that you're going to kill his ass. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
He's going to hit you for that whatever his damage is first, and you'll never be able to apply your damage. You'll be dead. That creature will be dead before that thing's able to
before normal combat damage
applies.
Yeah.
So move on to lifelink.
Lifelink.
Well, can any of you guys think of any other corner cases with Death Touch where it works, doesn't work? Any other?
It doesn't if you attack a planeswalker. The planeswalker doesn't die; it just takes the damage.
Yes, exactly.
So it won't just automatically kill the planeswalker.
Yep, not a creature.
Yep, not a creature.
Just loyalty counters.
And if a death touch creature actually does damage to you, you won't automatically die.
Right.
Yeah.
So lifelink. Let's go. Where's the description at? Where's it at?
Okay, lifelink. I don't have the description.
Lifelink, it's like whatever combat damage you deal to a creature or player,
you gain that much.
Or planeswalker.
Well, okay, so the damage dealt.
It doesn't matter the target. As long as one of your creatures dealt damage with lifelink, you get that life back.
So let's say
it happens instantaneously. As soon as that damage dealt, you instantaneously gain that life.
It's the same time as whatever life that person was to lose, you'd also gain it at the same moment, not in a stack effect.
Yeah. So let's say you have a 4/4 with lifelink and you're attacking, and your opponent blocks with a 2/2. Your creature, like just with trample, is going to do all of its damage to the 2/2. So it's gonna
they always follow through with their punches.
Follow through. So even though it's only the defending creature only has 2 toughness, it doesn't matter because it's still taking 4 damage. So you're going to be gaining 4 life because it's doing all of its damage. And it's very important because up until like 2 weeks...
4 hours ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Until right this moment.
Yeah.
Up until like a month ago or something, which is horrible. I should have known this. I blame Duels of the Planeswalker for misinforming me. But did we talk about this last episode?
I don't know, but let's talk about it.
Okay, so let's say you have 1 life left, and your opponent is attacking with 2 1/1s. And you're going to be blocking with a 2/2 with lifelink.
Right.
So you block one of the 1/1s, and the other 1/1 gets through. So this happens all instantaneously. That you take the 1 damage So
you would be at 0.
You would be at 0, but the lifelink kicks off from your lifelink creature at the same time, so you go up to 2.
And so when it's all done and said and done, you're not dead and you're at 2 life.
You never actually went to 0. You're at 2, and that's something.
You're at 1 because it still takes that 2 away. I mean, you gain. Oh, you're at.
If you're at 1,
you're at 1 already.
If you're at 1, you take 1, you gain 2. So
you get 2 life.
And Duels of the Planeswalker doesn't do that. It's like if you take damage, it doesn't matter if you.
It makes it like a stack ability or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly. So fuck you, Duels of the Planeswalker. So I mean, that's my little spiel on lifelink.
I would say one thing I've learned is that when you gain life off of lifelink, and that creature also has double strike, where it has 2 phases of combat, you gain that life separately. It's instance each. So if you have some other enchantment on the board that says like whenever you gain life, this happens. Each combat phase, it'll happen twice. It'll happen from your first strike. I gained 3 life or whatever it was from that creature. Okay, I attacked the normal combat phase. I gained 3 more life. So that effect happened twice.
Yeah.
Or there's a new red card out right now. It's not lifelink, but this is another thing about the double strike. Is that every time you deal combat damage to a player, you get to like exile a card and cast it this turn or whatever. And it's double strike, and that means that you're going to be able to have 2 combat phases in that, or whatever you want to call it, and that means you get to draw 2 cards. It's 2 triggers. So that's important to know, and with lifelink or with any of this kind of stuff. But with lifelink, I think it's awesome because with the angel, whatever that thing is, what's that one from M14?
Angel's Frenemy?
Is it no, it's Archangel.
Archangel Thune.
Yeah.
That guy is a lifelinker, and if you were to have a thing with that double strike on that or whatever, it has 2 triggers, and it'll trigger twice, so that whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on everything. So you'll get 2 1/1 counters. You get 1 from the first effect and 1 from the second effect. And I've seen it in standard play or whatever in tournaments, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know, like, what is going on here? How come it's 2 1/1 counters or whatever? How come I gain this life? You know, it's hard to, I didn't know that's what it was from the game. So. What do you guys think? What else? Lifelink?
I think lifelink is pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of
there's some instances where it's kind of like, with like lifelink with trample or some things like that. But I mean, other than that, it's as long as you know that all the damage that is dealt to a target creature, player,
damage
or,
dealt. Period.
So
Planeswalker,
you're gaining
creature,
you're gaining that much life.
Your dog, whatever.
There's not really a lot of corner cases with other keywords that you have like some cool interactions with. It's pretty straightforward, and that there's like the double strike thing that Hot Sauce was talking about, but that's kind of like with any other keyword, pretty much from double strike.
There are 2 different instances.
Yeah, so
I like to think of like double strike, like they have like 2 swords or something like that, and they attack with each sword in
separately.
Turn. Yeah,
right.
They don't just strike with both swords at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like they stab with like their left hand, and then they stab you in the other eye with their right hand, something like that.
Why the eye?
Eye gouge.
What if it's a Cyclops?
Yeah, I know.
well, then it's dead.
Especially that Cyclops then.
So what else we got? We can. Like first strike, double strike. You want to say a little something about that?
Yeah, since we've been talking about it, let's.
I guess we kind of touched on double strike, which is it's not too hard to understand.
First strike. So there's a beginning of combat phase. There's declare attackers, declare blockers, and there's end of combat phase. We'll go through more in depth of the phases in a later episode, but for right now, just for the example. Normally, every creature goes through the combat damage phase, applies its combat damage, and that's it. Unless the creature has first strike or double strike. So whenever it has first strike or double strike, you have a extra combat damage phase before your original apply combat damage phase. So you have beginning of combat, declare attackers, declare blockers, first strike damage, and then normal damage, and then end of combat. So you don't have like a second first strike for double strike. Double strike just means you apply first strike combat damage and regular combat damage.
If it's 2 power, it's essentially 4 power if you were to count both of them.
Yeah.
Or with first strike, if it's 2 power, it's just 2 power.
Yeah, you get to strike. You get to apply the damage first. That's all first strike means.
Before the defending creature.
Yeah, before
if you have a 2 toughness creature and you have a 2 power creature with first strike, you're going to win that battle every time because he's never going to, no matter what power he is, he'll never be able to hit you before you hit him.
Exactly.
So that's the first strike. Double strike's the same. Double strike has first strike and normal combat damage, where first strike only has.
And the regular strike.
That regular strike's so good though.
So, one cool thing I see a lot is with first strike and double strikers is they get to the first strike combat damage step, and say they have a 2/2 first strike, and they're trying to kill like a 4. They get blocked by a 4/4. They'll let the first strike damage happen. And then, since you're going into a different phase, you have to pass priority, and like I said, we'll talk about that later in an episode. You have to pass priority to pass into the next phase. You can, like, lightning strike during that phase. So you can save your guy, you can apply the 2 damage from the creature to the 4/4, and then before you go into the normal combat phase, you lightning strike it, so you deal with the creatures so they don't get to strike back and kill your guy, and you ultimately get rid of their creature. So it's something to look out for when you're trying to, figure out what you can do. That's why I think first strike is more of a defensive ability rather than an offensive ability, where I think double strike is the offensive side.
Yeah.
Because you get to apply damage twice.
Once you're Ash Zealot, then you're...
I was going to say, like, Fabled Hero is a card, a white card, and it has double strike and heroic. It's a 2/2. So if I was to attack in and you had no blockers, it's a 2/2 with double strike. It'll basically do 4 damage. But if I hit it with a combat trick or whatever, not only does it turn it into a 3/3 because of the heroic, so I'm attacking for 6, I also get to add on whatever that ability was from the instant speed card I casted or whatever. So if I casted something that gave it another +1 or whatever, now I have a 4/4 attacking with double strike. I'm hitting you for 8.
Yeah, exactly.
I went from hitting you from 4 to hitting you from 8 by only adding a card was supposed to only add 1. It actually added 4 or whatever.
Exactly.
There's ways that double strike.
You can get bonkers.
Yeah,
It can get
there's creatures that are like double strike. It's a 1/3 with double strike. So you're hitting for 2. Like, who gives a shit? But if you're able to madcap skills that guy and bring it another 3 power onto it, now you're hitting for 8. It's crazy how fast you can make that creature.
And I think that's why we don't see a lot of creatures or ability or spells that give double strike, just because it can get so out of hand.
Right.
All right. Well, I mean, that was informative, and this is all stuff.
I feel so much smarter right now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
About magic.
I mean,
and life in general.
this is like simple stuff. But for a somewhat newer player, and even for us,
Oh man, I remember when we first started
Oh,
playing
it's
Magic.
just-
It was
it's
tough.
just
Real
the-
quick, I want to touch on one last thing to finish it
My
off.
penis?
Vigilance.
Is it my penis?
And I'm going
Oh,
to touch on your vigilant penis. That's the last thing of those
touch.
basic cards or basic whatever abilities or whatever the fuck you want to call them. Anyways, vigilance is when you attack, it does not tap the creature or whatever during the attack phase. So it's something simple, but if you attack, you have to make the decision: do I attack now and tap my creature down so they can get in next turn, or do I hold off on attacking so I can block their creature next turn? Now you don't have to make that choice.
Vigilance
So with, like,
says you get all of it good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with like Brimaz, it's good on attack and blocking, and it gets to do both rather than choose which one it wants to do. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick. It's something simple. There's really nothing to talk about with it probably, but that will round out the 5 main things.
Noobs knowledge. So that is going to wrap it up for us with the noobs knowledge, and pretty much for the episode. Like I said, this was all simple stuff, but some of it is just things you forget about or ignore
Or if you're
Don't know
just coming
some
into the
corner
game.
cases.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
coming into the game, there's a lot to learn. I mean, it's really daunting when you first step into the game and you're trying to not only understand what cards do, what power and toughness is, but you also have these keyword abilities and all this other stuff that you have to kind of wrap your head around. It's definitely always good to get in depth with the actual keywords and actually get a firm grasp and knowledge of what they actually mean and what they do.
Yep, so that will do it for episode 6. Check out the new website. Like us on all the various things on the internet. Just
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, MTG Cast, Shout Engine.
I feel like this should be like a dance. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Shout
my God.
Come on, dance with me.
There's a song in there somewhere. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So it'll all be in the show notes. everything will be in the show notes. There'll be a transcription of the.
We'll have it in Braille.
episode.
Have it available in Braille next week, probably.
But thanks for listening in. This has been episode 6. My name is Knife City.
I'm a Quickness.
This is Reich.
And hot sauce.
And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Later.
All right. Anyways, check it out.
Yes.
Bring it back.
Yeah, how about you, Night City?
I don't know. I've just been talking about semen for a while. And,
Doing a lot of Dukins.
yeah, a lot of. Actually, let's not get into that.
Dried
That'll
up.
be another podcast.
Yeah.
That's for our late night after show.
Yeah, let's just say I've been playing.
Single player.
Yeah. I've been playing against the AI.
Oh, shit.